Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jamil Barletier speaking. This episode is straight up not gonna be a typical episode that I usually make on my channel. This is gonna be another installment of the Venomous People series. The reason why I wanted to do this is because I saw something on Instagram today before I went to work that made me sick to my stomach, actually. I felt, in my opinion, I wanted to do this because after reading the story, I want to get more in depth. And unfortunately, I was not able to go as far as I can except the Instagram page and the Twitter. So I only got hearsay, but it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that this happened and the individual had to go through with this. So I felt in my heart I had to do something about it, and I did as much as history on it. To the woman that could be watching this video, I really hope that one day she can see this video, and if she wants to talk more about it, she is very welcome to talk about it. Because I can only bring this as far as I can. I want to give this the attention that it deserves, or some kind of attention it deserves, because I feel like she's owed that, and I feel like so many people in her shoes have suffered enough that it needs to be addressed. It has to be addressed. And if anyone has a problem with it being addressed, oh well, that's what you get for making it a problem in the first place. But let's get right into it. Apparently there is an Instagrammer by the name of, I think her name was Murder Report. I will put her tag in the description, but I'm trying to pull up her actual name so I don't butcher it. Her Instagram tag is Murder Confidence. Murder_confidence. That's her name. And one day I was scrolling through my Instagram search feed and I saw a photo that kind of stuck out, that I was just like, oh, what's this? And then I read it and I'm just like, what's going on? It says Bonnie story, and it also says read the description. And next thing you know, there was some posts about her that were posted, and I ended up looking at the girl's page. I ended up looking at the girl's page. From what I can understand, long story short, the Instagrammer, her name, she is the daughter of a woman by the name of Bonnie Flint. And what I read was a very, very, very horrible story that her mother went through on what a lot of Twitter posts. The daughter of Bonnie Clit, I'm very sorry, that was not meant to be funny or disrespectful. Please forgive me. The daughter of Bonnie Flint decided to make Twitter post telling the story of what her mother went through, and it is absolutely the most disgusting things that I've ever heard. As a matter of fact, I have put a photo. There are going to be some photos there's going to be some mugshot photos that are going to be very, 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 very disturbing. And I let all my viewers know that right now. If you are sensitive, do not watch. Otherwise, you are going to hear everything. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read everything that this girl has posted. As a matter of fact, she's got a live video. Let's see what we got to see. Okay, I'm back. Just had to see what was going up. Nothing too spectacular, I mean, sometimes these things are strong, but hey, it is what it is. But I do want to get started by coming across a post that actually, this is what really started a lot. So here we go. It's gonna be hard to read, but I gotta read it. The first tweet says, molested by father, molested by cousin, dismissed by mother, labeled crazy, misdiagnosed for government checks, thrown on the street, abandoned by family, forced to make the streets a home, snatched away from 3 children. My family kept her story a secret after her death. And it already starts off crazy. She goes on to tweet, I thought her drug addiction began when I was 7, only to find out she had her first episode with drugs when I was 3. In my eyes, we had a perfect life. Her drug addiction never made sense to me. My life changed once she made the streets her own. We took these pics of each other. The next tweet, my dad was my mom's only confidant, one true love. He was sentenced to 9 years when I was 1 year old. There was no one to help her cope, so she began doing coke, still standing strong for me in the process. The next tweet says, my grandmother kicked my mom out quite often, accusing my mom of sleeping with her own father. Meanwhile, he was molesting her. One day, my mom came home to her stuff in garbage bags, sitting on the porch. Sick and tired of the BS, she began to stray to men for shelter. Also, my mom was an aspiring rapper. I mean, a real-life artist. Real-life lyricist. She was in a group full of men. She was the only female. She's known as Bonnie Flint. Still to this day in all Miami streets. 305 Dade County. Next tweet goes on. My mom once said, I'll sleep with 1,000 men if that means I have a place to lay my head. Exaggerated. She found a way to use men to her advantage to eat. Had a real N-word mentality. It's a Miami thing. Listen to at the girl JT. Maybe you'll get it. The Twitter is on the. You can follow her on Twitter. You can follow the girl on Twitter. The next tweet. My mom got pregnant with my little brother when I was 5. Meanwhile, she was still in love with my dad. One day, my mom called asking my mom and my grandmother told him that my mom wanted nothing to do with him and was pregnant. My dad was crushed, stuck in a cell. Then here goes the actual pictures of Bonnie Flint. I used to be scared of looking at the pictures, the tweet says. Now I'm confronting the pain behind each one. This is my mother when she wasn't like this at one point. We had a regular life. My family caused me to lose the one person guaranteed to love me unconditionally. I'm so sorry, Ma. The next tweet. During my mom's first episode, she called Carrie and said, either you're going to have to come back down here or I'm going to have to come up there because I can't do this. Carrie drove from Tally to Miami, only to find out my aunt had taken her up the road with a car full of guys to Orlando. The next tweet. My oldest brother was the one to sell her coke for the first time. My cousin also told her. Kiri confronted my cousin about it, and he replied to her, business is business. He was weeping like a baby the day my mom passed. I wonder what that was about. Guilt. She also tweets, I confronted my grandmother about my mother on New Year's Eve. I showed her the scars on my wrist to remind her of what I went through under her care. She said, and I quote, That's that's you and your mom's chemical imbalance. That has nothing to do with that, unquote. That's when I knew that I had to cut grandma off. In the next tweet, my mom looked like another person in the casket. I vomited because all I see was the work of my family. My grandfather kept his head down the whole entire funeral. I refused to sit by him or my grandfather. They keep trying to rekindle, but they must accept their faults first. The next tweet, my dad is now in federal prison serving 30 years. He was in confinement when my mom died. Somehow he heard about it from inside. The prison called us to confirm. I have yet to speak to my dad due to him being in confinement. He never liked my mom's side. Now I know why. Free Chico. I am the first person to attend college on my mother's side. My grandmother, middle school education, could still look at me in the face and call me crazy. LOL. I'm attending Bethune-Cookman University, majoring in business administration. Go Wildcats. Quote, Quana's daughter. I'm assuming that's Bonnie Flint. The next tweet, there's so much more to my mom. I plan on bringing her story to the real big screen. She is the symbol for all young girls and women across the globe. Telling her story will shed light on what's going on in a lot of black households. Her environment literally killed her. It has to stop. The next tweet, your messages mean a lot. For years I was convinced that I was living a normal life. Nobody has ever acknowledged me or my mom's pain except my grandmother, except my grandmother, Irene, Dad's mom. She got me out of the house and got me back on my feet. Thank you, Grandma Irene, for fighting for me. On the next tweet, my mom passed away this past December. The last time I saw her was at my high school graduation. Forever my angel, fly in peace, my queen. And then after the tweet, it said that a woman who I've actually seen her Instagram twice, and I've seen her actual page. The daughter of Bonnie Flint would accuse this woman by the name of Prima Donna as a millionaire that has claimed her mom as a sister, but allowed a GoFundMe page to be made during funeral time. She goes on to hope that the blogs out there are being paid not to post Bonnie's story like they say that she is. Then the next tweet, when my mom left, my clothes stopped being washed, my hair stopped being done, I stopped being taken care of. I was sexually harassed by my uncle in those years left with my grandparents. My grandmother told me it didn't matter because he didn't rape me. I eventually grew into a depression. And this tweet I definitely felt. Now, I want to come out here and make this video. And I want to make this public because I at least wanted some kind of story out there, you know. Because she plans on making this a movie, and I plan on helping her do that. Or at least helping her get that attention that it deserves, since blogs are refusing to post this, which is disgusting. But it's a damn shame. You know, what disgusts me more about this story is not the fact that this woman's mother went through crap. What disgusts me about this story is the fact that I'm not surprised that this is happening. You see, neglect is a very, 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 very strong sense of abuse. People think if he's not beating her, it's not abuse. If it's not touching her, it's not abuse. If he's not talking down her, it's not abuse. But you can literally ignore them and you can put one of two in that situation. It is a shame. It's a damn shame. And it happens. And I can say this because I've been, neglected. When I lived with people that just didn't care. You've seen my Venomous people. You've seen my second video, just talking about it. So I don't want to really talk about them again. But it's a shame. It's really a disgusting shame when you hear these things. You hear certain people going through it. And yes, her Instagram post did mention that, blacks literally go through this on a regular basis in the household. It's all I always say that the most painful things always come from within, because outside you can prepare for it, but inside you can't. You can never prepare for it. Even outside, if you don't prepare for it, it's coming. But inside, it's worse because you would trust your inside people, but you can't. I mean, the family really, 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 really disregarded this person's mother. And the fact that they stopped caring once the mother started disappearing for the daughter is what really set me off. And I'm going to be quite clear, I'm going to be quite clear about a lot of things here. To the daughter of Bonnie Flint, I don't know your real name. I'm sorry. I don't want to necessarily call you by your Instagram name because I believe you are a normal human being. I don't want to say murder confidence, but I would like to call you the daughter of Bonnie Flint. I want you to say this. I want you to know this, and I'm gonna make sure this is real quick as real quick as possible. The reason why your grandmother, in my opinion, the reason why your grandmother treated your mother the way they treated her, it's because they were scared. And I can say this because I've had lousy people that I've lived with before I moved out. And it's a shame because intimidation is a strong thing. When I think of intimidation by family, I immediately think of Cinderella. I think of jealousy, intimidation, envy, abuse. You think about it. Cinderella's father was so, put her daughter first once, the original mother passed away. And then they met the stepmother who was so jealous of the beauty that Cinderella had, which made no sense in the way he treated Cinderella. Yet the stepmother had two stepdaughters who were not only ugly outside, but ugly on the inside. And then once the father passed away, the stepmother kept using her power to abuse and take over her, causing her to slave while her daughter was around. And then once Prince Charming came and did what he did, they got even more scared because Cinderella was just more capable. But all they kept doing by burying her was prolonging the inevitable. And more, and more, and more, and more, and more. Cinderella just had more of a support team behind her, to the point where they've tried everything. They have tried everything. They've complained about everything. And eventually, nothing has worked. Your grandmother was intimidated by your mother. And they put her in such, it's easy to say, yeah, maybe, this, that, and the third. But the parents also had a responsibility as well. They had a responsibility to take care of this woman, and they didn't. They abused this woman, and they put this woman through so much. And to the daughter of Bonnie Flint, you've done a good job of leaving, as you deserve to. And although they try to rekindle and this, that, and the third, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying you shouldn't forgive them, but like you said in your tweet, they need to handle their faults first, because they did something they were damn sure guilty of. And to Prima Donna, if you really are out here paying these blogs to not post up a lot of things about the Bonnie Flint situation, then shame on you. because that's a lot of guilt you're covering up, and that shouldn't happen at all. You know, especially if GoFundMe page was made in her name, yet no money was given out. What a shame. What a shame. But that's not all I want to say. To the daughter of Bonnie Flint, I also want to mention that you are very welcome to have a conversation with me and to talk about the situation with your mother. If you want to speak, you know, you have my Instagram page at Jammaster. That's all I can say. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're doing well for yourself. And they hate that. They hate that. Your grandma, the enemy, they hate to see you do good. And I'm glad you're doing good. Keep doing good, because they can't do anything about it except live in the crazy environment that they live in. But with that being said, you know, I do wish anybody, and it's been said on numerous, it's been said, but someone even pointed out, anybody going through the same thing, because this is just a cycle, and that makes it sad. Is not that it's different, it's that it's the same. It's the same thing that happens within every household. Somebody's getting neglected, somebody's getting abused, somebody's getting molested, someone's, you know, not being taken seriously. Then you say disgusting things like, oh, that's a chemical imbalance. Oh, well, that's you. They try to make things as if it's your fault because they don't know how to handle their own things. You know, including the people that I lived with, cannot handle the fact that, you know, the things that they're doing is despicable and disgusting. And anybody that has to go through that, I feel for you, because it's a shame. It's a shame. You know, my mother trusted some of these people to put me in good hands, and they failed at their job. So when my mom confronts them and they get mad at me for the things I do, I'm sorry you feel that upset at me. But you know what? A scared dog will always bark first. And I feel stupid for apologizing in that one phone call with that person, as she went on this rant about how she didn't do anything. But like I said in my last video, I recant my statements. I take them back. You have done nothing for me. You have done nothing at all, because you're terrible as a caretaker. Whether you're a good mother, I'm not saying that, but as far as a guardian, you are terrible, and you clearly are just as bad a human being as your husband. And anybody who went through the same crap that I went through. Even worse, because mine's, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't really that bad. It wasn't terrible, but it was not good. The outcome was the same. Neglect, to the point where I was forced to be kicked out. After they kicked me out, I was happy that they kicked me out, because they figured, hey, let him worry about what's going on with his mother, thinking that I didn't have my own plans because they didn't think I was going to survive. No, fuck you. I cursed. But, you know what I mean? Anybody who has neglectful adults like I did, leave. And if they kick you out, don't come back. But don't succumb to the streets. Just don't give them what they want and succumb to the streets. Keep doing your thing. And make sure you are around people who really, really want to help you. The daughter of Bonnie Flint, you are very strong for what you've went through. And I'm sorry for the loss of your mother. Keep grinding, keep doing your thing. And as for me, I'm going to keep doing my thing. And as for anybody that's been going through abuse, do your thing and leave those people. You don't need them. They need you to feel good about themselves. And when they get rid of you, they want to beg, they want to come back. You don't need them. You don't need them at all. That's all I pretty much have to say, because this whole thing disgusts me. That it's not typical. This is a Floridian girl 1 hour from me in Miami. That just makes it even worse, and it's disgusting. But that's neither here nor there. This is Jamil Bartlett here, and I hope everyone digest this video. I'm asking to make Bonnie's story heard. Follow the daughter of Bonnie Flint once again, murder underscore conceded, and share the story and make it public. You have a voice. Let it be heard. Jamil Bartlett here, wishing you guys peace. Yes, I also wanted to add, because I forgot to say this. If I ever to pass away, and I have kids, whether it be my mother, whether it be the mother of their child, my mom, my brother, my sisters, or anyone on my father's side of the family, is darn sure and not going to be the brother of my mother. I know I can't trust him, nor his damn wife. But if I die and I give the responsibility of custody to anyone in my family, I really hope you guys take care of them. I do not want to die and then during my death any of my kids are being mistreated. Just the same that if any one of my family members die and they leave their kids to me, I would promise to make sure that they get the best care and responsibility that I'm giving them that I can give them. That's all I wanted to say. Just my piece. Peace.